Welcome back to another guide. In today's video we've got the LM-S. A bit of a weird one because it's only to level 13, so it should be a nice and easy one. Nevertheless though, I still will be going through the best game modes, best class setup and all the help to do with the challenges. Now there are two tricky challenges for this one, so make sure you stick around to check that out. But as always, feel free to skip around, use the timestamps that have been made available. If you do find anything helpful though, I'd appreciate the sub. That way you can stay up to date with guides in the future. Let's get straight on with the video. For the first section, we're going to talk about game modes. Obviously, the first thing you do is level up the gun. Now, if you are confident with a single-fired rifle and not too fussed about quick play styles, then I'm going to highly recommend Shoot House. If Shoot House isn't for you, the next best option is Kill Confirmed. Just remember though, collect them tags as they are a great source of weapon XP. The second option is Invasion. Now Invasion will be perfect for those that aren't very confident with a single fired rifle, because you can just farm bots over and over. Yes, it is a big team battle, but ultimately this is still one of the quickest ways to level up the gun. The third option is a bit of a different one, and this one is Tier 1. This is a hardcore style game mode that allows you to one-shot people. This does mean that it is actually quite slow, but if you're really struggling with some of the challenges or leveling up the gun, then this is a great option for you. There's also an option to select what game mode you like, so things like Kill Confirmed and Hardpoint are also in here. Moving on to the next section, I'm going to show you guys two different classes depending on the game modes you pick and the custom loadouts to go with them. So feel free to copy or make any tweaks that suit your playstyle. This first one we're looking at is predominantly for people going into Kill Confirmed or Shoot House. This is going to try and limit that recoil while also enhancing the aim down sight speed. Now if you're not too bothered about mobility, I would then recommend using the pineapple grip instead. Here is the rest of my custom loadout. Generally I think this is pretty perfect for Shoot House, but change anything that suits you. Another option instead of quick fix, as we don't need to push that hard and we don't need double kills, is Bird's Eye. Bird's Eye is going to allow you to see what way your enemies are going when you've got a UAV, so that is always nice and handy. So here is my second class setup, and this is predominantly for something like Invasion. Now because you'll be shooting bots at a slightly longer range than normal, I've added a lot of recoil control and damage range. This is going to be far more important than that aim down sight speed, unless you're going to be rushing in Invasion. So this completes the rest of the custom loadout. As always, you'll see a tactical insertion. I can't stress this enough, it's absolutely perfect for Invasion. If you find a building that you want to camp in or an area and you die, you're just going to be straight back in the action rather than having to run the whole map. Lastly, on to Killstreaks. Now I always use the same three. UAV and counter UAV, just because it helps me see where the enemy are and also prevents them from seeing me. And then always a VTOL. Now the reason I like a VTOL is because generally it does get a lot of kills, but it just sits up in the air and doesn't require me to control it. This means I can carry on doing my business on the ground. Now another bit of advice is, if you're someone that doesn't particularly get lots of kill streaks, change them to Scorestreaks down in the bottom left. This is going to allow you to gain them kill streaks by just doing things like collecting the hard point, picking up tags. So this is a perfect way of being able to get UAVs and counter UAVs without having to get the kills required. Your gun is max level and you know exactly what class you are using. It's now time to worry about what game mode you're going to do for challenges. Now personally for me, I will always jump into Shoot House. If you're not a fan of Shoot House, I'd then recommend one of these three game modes. Now the reason I recommend going into either of these two is purely because they're going to allow you to pick up the challenges a lot quicker than say Invasion or Kill Confirmed. In objective based game modes, enemies are going to be running to the hard point for example, which means it becomes very predictable where they're going to be and there's a lot more movement on the map. This movement is absolutely vital for the challenges. Things like mounted, you're going to be sat there waiting, and if no one's moving then there's no kill to be had. So the last chapter, we're obviously going to talk about the challenges, and I'm going to try and help you out as much as I can. That being said though, Commando Digital, which is get 40 kills, is certainly one that you don't need help with. Now the second challenge, Abominable, which is a bit of a mouthful, Get 20 mounted kills is a bit of a pain. Now if you're in a game mode like Shoot House has 3 predictable lanes. You need to try and mount in an area that completely cuts off one of these lanes. For argument's sake, the heady down the middle. This is the best way to collect mounted kills. You're going to sit here and wait for enemies to constantly run around the corner. Another thing you can do is equip the deployable cover. Put this down anywhere on the map, especially near hard points where you know enemies are going to be running to you. Mount on top of this and you've got an easy way of getting mounted kills. Moving on to the third challenge, autumnal, and that is get 20 one-shot kills. Now generally one shot is a headshot, which means it would be far easier to go into something like tier 1. Tier 1 is a hardcore game mode, which is going to allow you to get one-shot kills all the time. This is going to save you so much time and hassle, and I promise you it's well worth giving this a try. To complete the basic challenges, we've got Coral Snake, which is get 30 kills while crouched. Just like the mounted one, you're going to hold one of these lanes and just sit there crouched. You can, however, also just walk around the map nice and slowly while crouched. I generally do this as I get bored, but you do look like a bit of an idiot. You can also combine this and the mounted ones together if you're obviously crouched while mounted. Another thing you can do is slide into the crouch position, which means you can move around the map a lot quicker. Slide around them corners and you'll be able to take out the enemy in a crouched position. Gold makes up the full list of the challenges, and as always it is get 3 kills without dying 10 times. Now this one for me, I always say, is about your mental side. You need to try and not think about it as much as possible. Play your natural game, and when you're on 2 kills, play a bit ratty. Hold that angle, hold that window. At the end of the day, you are going for challenges and there is no need to rush. If you do die on 2, then try and forget it, because the more you overthink this, the more you'll rush it, the more you die, and it's a vicious cycle. We've all been there where we continuously die on 2 and we don't help ourselves. If you have found this video helpful though guys, make sure you hit that sub button, and I'll see you in the next one.